Hello everyone, and welcome to my review of Hellpoint. In this review, I'm going to be going over a few things with you, as well as showing you some pretty sweet gameplay and a preview of the boss. The first thing we will be talking about is who this game is made by, a development team called WhiteMageGames located in the buzzing techno center of Quebec, Canada. The team of 7 have created one of the best demos I have ever had the privilege of playing, which seems to me like Dark Souls and Dead Space had a badass baby. Sadly, as most of you know, Dark Souls seems to be at an end after creating 5 games by From Software and leaving the Dark Souls community a bit wanting. Luckily, WhiteMageGames saw this community in need and gave them a tasty treat to nibble on and enjoy in a new and interesting format. On WhiteMageGames' website, they described their title Hellpoint as this.
Hellpoint is a dark and occult sci-fi RPG about brutal survival and forbidden enterprises. Explore a cryptic space station deep with ancient lore of obscure rituals and quantum researches. In your adventure, you will put the pieces back together as you attempt to unravel this dreadful story. You are a spawn of the Authority, 3D printed into existence by a mysterious force.
To be honest, the game-feeling universe seemed quite nice. A bit of action here, some horror there, and of course, the blood-pumping, rage-inducing enemies that have caused me to go bald at the rap age of 24. The enemies seem quite fluid and horrific, wondering what you are fighting as you try to survive the onslaught of monsters as the black hole surrounds you at every corner. Come to find out, these creatures are demons of some sort, judging by the item descriptions, but much is left to be desired in terms of actual details. Okay, so down to the nitty-gritty. Now don't take this viewpoint as totally serious, since the game is still in beta, and this is just a demo to give you a basic idea of the game. At the start, you have the choice of 3 characters, Ancient Warrior, Disciple, or Newborn. I instantly knew what these characters were capable of doing to being a Souls player, but if you're a bit of a casual, here's what they are. Ancient Warrior will mostly be a strength type build of character, hitting hard and having a decent amount of health. Disciple is more fast-paced dexterity type class, having more power when using the healing aura, but having less health, effectively making him a bit of a wimpy cleric that can be turned into a tanky one quite easily. And finally, Newborn is for people who are hardcore enough who don't want to start with a weapon or any advantage at all. Might as well give them a Nerf sword and a ping pong ball to throw at enemies. The overall feel seems quite nice when you are playing. The dodge rolls are clean like Dark Souls 1, but when you lock onto an enemy and evade, you slide around as if you were playing Bloodborne. But, in space. Swings feel nice and crisp most of the time, but the movement could be improved as well as the dodge mechanics and timing, causing me to relearn the playstyle and approach enemies with added caution even though I am a veteran Souls player. Level design is amazing. Hidden nooks and crannies via climbable green railways encourage you to explore, as well as random object placement, making hallways and dead ends look just a tiny bit different than before. I don't know about you guys, but I like that, and I hope the development team picks up on the subject more. A randomly generated Dark Souls game that forces you to always be on your guard, always be cautious with random enemy placement, not knowing exactly what to prepare for. You don't know how many times I have been through the Souls games and wanted something like this just to add to the difficulty. And I am willing to bet I am not the only person who thinks this way. Another unique feature is that doors and events can pop up and open at any time due to the black holes surrounding the station, which can be seen in real time and by the clock in the upper left of your screen. The doors and events can lead to items that reward the player for their skill and bravery. Your health and energy are displayed next to it, with no stamina bar, which is actually located under your character in the bottom middle of the screen. Another feature I like, since I can easily tell when I need to back off for a few moments, regain my composure, and then go back to hacking and slashing again. The weapons are quite badass, and a bit more focused on than your armor. Different weapons have different abilities. You level up slowly by inflicting more damage to enemies over a period of time. Also leveling up your base stats such as plus 3% of your max health or stamina, along with some other abilities allowing you to adapt to your own playstyle depending on which weapon you decide to use. Energy is used by casting spells or shooting firearms, and is slowly regenerated by attacking other enemies. A mechanic which I like, allowing you to heal endlessly as long as your attacks are consistent and you don't run away like a whimpering casual or speedrun like a headstrong Havel wielding the Black Knight glaive. The developers also had in mind to punish those who decided to farm by putting in yet another mechanic I very fully enjoy. Resting at checkpoints to level up does not revive enemies or your health. Instead, over a period of time, enemies will respawn, hitting harder and having more HP, encouraging you to move on to another area as soon as possible. Yet another mechanic I enjoyed is that if you happen to die, which it will by the way, your essence, which is what I call it, comes back as an enemy around the area in which you died. Once you respawn and happen to make it back to where you perished, your essence begins to fight you. The only way to receive your juicy actions is to beat your former self senseless and loot its corpse. This brings up another aspect of difficulty to the game, punishing you even more for dying in this world by not giving you back your hard-earned experience unless you prove yourself against a formidable opponent. Before moving on to the next part, we need to finally talk about the upgrade bench. Not only can you upgrade your weapons and imbue them with certain auras to give them extra damage, but you can also tweak your spells to your liking. Increase the power of your spell causes the energy cost to go up, but increasing the delay of the spell being activated decreases the energy cost, allowing you to freely experiment with your spells with any playstyle you wish. The soundtrack for this game gives me a Bloodborne feel. Coarse vocals and intimidating bass in the opening screen sends an eerie chill up my spine every time I hear it. The default music while you are fighting enemies is barely noticeable, but nice nonetheless, compared to the dead silence and chirping crickets Dark Souls players are used to. The music in the boss room was very well done, allowing me to at least enjoy the music while he repeatedly killed me with cheap shots and aggravating combos. When you finally trek through the dark hallways and kill horrific clones of Dr. Eggman from Sonic the Hedgehog to get to the vault keys, you're rewarded with an opening gate that leads to the game's boss. Undisturbed Defus Nemundus? Am I saying that right? Oh shit! To be honest, I didn't want to disturb this giant floating occult monk, but for the sake of progress, I gave him a try. Quite a few times. His hits are slow and predictable, allowing you to learn him after a few fights, but like any other Dark Souls-esque boss, he changes up his moveset with a few new ones once he hits a health percentage that kill you before he can say, "The hell is that?" All in all, I think Hellpoint shows potential. Congratulations to Cradle Games who have reached their fundraising goal by the time this video comes out, and I can't wait to review the actual game when it comes out next year. Want to play this demo yourself or support Cradle Games? Check out the description below for links to their Kickstarter. Enjoy the rest of the video, guys. I worked really hard on beating this boss.